Hi everybody, it's me again. I just kind of wanted to make I haven't really been on too much because I have stopped really getting messages from Summer, and I think she told me all she's gonna tell me, and I think my dog just walked in. Anyway, I think she's told me all she's gonna tell me, and I've been asking and asking, and I was told, shown when the leaves are all brown on the ground. Um, and December. Um, 14th went by the 5th, but dates are very hard to predict. Um, I believe um, that she's going to be found not by a search team that's just out there randomly searching or that have certain hotspots. I believe somebody is going to squeal. That's how they're going to find her because she's very well hidden and she is on that property. And because I saw a vision, one more vision, and it was somebody, the police were there. I couldn't really see their heads, and there were they were surrounding this person, and it was a man. But I don't think that really matters. That wasn't the point. It was a man with his hands cupped behind his back, and the message was that he had he had turned evidence in to where Summer was, and he had told them he had been arrested, and he had told them where she was and led them. He would tell them where her body was. So I don't believe it would be a planned search. It would be somebody spilling the beans and telling what they know, and that's how they'll find her. It won't be like regular searchers going into the woods, because basically they've combed pretty much, I believe, every inch of. Because I was going to write Ronnie Lawson again and say, this is where she is, and then, I've done this before, and I don't seem to get anywhere. And so, after I had that vision, it kind of cleared up for me the fact that I just feel this energy coming together, like somebody is going to say something, somebody's going to crack, and they're going to say they know something, and it's going to lead them to where she is. And I do believe, like I said, she's on that property, and she's very well hidden, and she's a tiny little thing. So, you know, but this is my summation of what I believe happened that day, um, as best as I can put it. I believe Don stayed home that day. I don't believe he went to work, or if he did, he went so he could. We don't even know if he was seen at work, um, because everything you hear is not really you hear it from the police or anything. You hear it from other creators who done told people things. I don't believe that they passed those lie detector tests. I believe they were inconclusive because they were probably both on something when they took them. I or I just don't believe they're sober long enough, or straight, or without being high long enough to be able to take a lie detector test accurately. Because Don always has red bloodshot eyes, and Candace always talks like she's. I mean, they're both addicts, so, and it's gotten worse. So I don't believe that a lie detector test would stand up in. Well, they can't stand up in court anyway. But anyway, so I believe that day Don was mostly home, and he was drinking, and he was in a bad, foul mood. I believe they went to the swimming hole. They took grandma. They took Summer with them. They did what they did. Nothing happened at the swimming hole. I get no vision of anything bad happening. She may have gone underwater, and Hunter, may have helped her out. I believe him more than Candace. Candace said no, it didn't happen, but I believe him more. But it was no dry drowning. There was no drowning. She might have got a little water up stuck in her nose or whatever. But I believe Candace had a little party with Hunter. I believe she was being, from what I've been told, and what I've seen, she was being inappropriate with him, and Allie knew about it. I sort of think, I keep saying I believe. I think they all have something on each other. The Most of the people involved, especially Candace and Don, and Allie and Hunter and the son and all these people, they all have something on each other. They're all covering for each other, and grandma. Now, if anybody knows if grandma is home right now or she's back in Wisconsin, I'd really like to know because of one of the visions I had. Um, God, I'm drinking Diet Coke and I usually don't. It's making me really thirsty. Anyway, I'd really like if anybody can tell me if grandmom's home or not. It has to do with something. It's kind of important. Um, because when I heard the scanners go off in one of my earlier visions, when they found Summer's body, they said, call the grandmother, get her back here. And so I'm kind of thinking she's not there right now because would be the time of year into the winter, early winter, that they would find Summer. Anyway, so they went to the swimming hole. They did. Then they stopped and got their vapes, before that they stopped and got their vapes and their twisted teas. And I don't think it was just one twisted tea. I'm sure Candace has driven drunk before. Anyway, so they had a little party and they maybe have been inappropriate at the swimming hole, and Summer was just, grandma was there, but she was probably sitting in the car. If she had her was in the emergency room with her knee, she probably wasn't wandering around in slippery mud, and that place was inhospitable for children. They shouldn't have been there in the first place. And Candace just wanted to be there because she wanted privacy. Anyway, so they finished, they picked up the prescription, they were on their way home. Everything was fine. He was sitting in the car, I believe, with Summer playing TikTok. Well, I don't think grandma went in the supermarket. I think they all have their stories all messed up because she just got something done to her knee. I think she was probably just sitting in the trunk. Okay, so I believe that, or I think that they probably dropped Hunter off at home. And I don't know what the story with Allie is. I really don't. Whether she thought she was sleeping or or Hunter went home with them. Because I don't believe Summer was injured at that point at all. So they went home to an angry, drunk husband. And then what happened, maybe Candace didn't know Don was home. So he took a raging fit because the next scene Summer shows me is she's sitting in the basement. And she is, or maybe even Hunter called his mom and said, come and get me because Don's home and he's, like hysterical and raging because she was sitting downstairs in the basement, sitting up because I was right behind her. I could see through her eyes, and she was in a panic. She was like, "Oh no!" And she had locked him out. And I don't know if the door can lock inside, but I just found out recently that it can lock inside. And you can lock it on the outside and the inside. She had locked him out. I could see his body through the window that they had downstairs, but I could also see through the door too. And I could see he was like really mad at her. And she was thinking, if I escape, if I go that way, who get me? Who get me anyway? And I don't know why he was so mad, but she was terrified. And the next scene I see is I don't know whether I saw the gun first or her lying on the ground, but I see this gun. And it's like, I don't know too much about old guns, but it was an antique gun. And it had brass, wood, and metal on it. And it was kind of curved a little at the top. It was like suspended in air. And she wanted me to see this gun. And it just looked like an antique pistol to me. But I noticed how shiny the brass was. And then I saw a picture of Don and Candace standing, looking down at something on the floor. And I know that the cement, it was a cement floor. Like she had just dropped from where she was. And they were staring there, looking down at her. And Don said, I think I killed her. And Candace said, and he had started to do other stuff because Candace said, wait a minute, can't you see how much that she's bleeding? And like he had sort of like was in his own little world. Like he didn't realize how much, what damage had been done. And I believe that was where she hit her head because she did have a mark in that car picture on her head. That staged picture, not the picture where they were coming home from the swimming hole, because she was fine until she got to the house. So then I saw a picture of a person's lower half. It wasn't, first I thought it, because I knew it was Summer's blood on this person's pants. It was like from the lap area down on these shorts, lower, below the knee shorts. And it was way too big to be Summer. But I knew it was Summer's blood. And I figured out it looked like Candace's lower half. And there was blood all over the shorts. And I then saw, I believe what happened then was after that happened, Candace and Don decided they had to come up with a story. Because if they took her to the hospital, since they were both felons, especially Don, I don't know how much of a felon Candace was, but I knew she had a criminal record. I'm not, whatever, if I'm wrong. I knew she had something on her. She didn't want to go to jail, or I don't think she would have gone to jail. I just think she was, she made a decision. So they had to do something, and he didn't want to go to jail because it was his fault. I mean, obviously, I believe truly it was an accident. I believe he was out of control, we've seen him many times on video, and he was probably flipping the gun around. Little Summer was in the basement, the dungeon, and he accidentally shot her. Because after she showed me the gun, I had a sharp stabbing pain in my lower abdomen. And it radiated around to my back. And I was lying down when I had that vision. And it was so uncomfortable. I had to like turn over on my side to make it a little more bearable. And I knew he had shot her in the abdomen because the gun was very important. And I found out later that he was allowed to own a powder pistol, and that is what they looked like. They were the old-fashioned kind of guns, and that was the only gun he was allowed to use. And I didn't know that, and I don't know if he still had it. It was in the 2020 domestic abuse incident that he had this pistol. I don't know if they took the gun away from him or he had another one or whatever, but he shot her. And anyway, so they had to come up with a plan. So I believe they dressed her, they fixed her wound as best they could, and she wasn't dead, but she wasn't dead at all. They called Candace while Don did whatever at home. Candace called Hunter. And she called him for help so they could make another run from the swimming hole to prove that Summer may have hurt herself or dry drowned or hit her head on a rock or something, that she was still alive coming home from the swimming hole. She was still alive. It happened. Actually, they said she was abducted, so that she was still alive. So she called Hunter for help because obviously she had something on him or, whatever. And so she went back to pick up Hunter in the grandmom's truck. And grandmom just stayed there. She wanted nothing to do with it. And they went to the swimming hole again they changed Summer. They bandaged her up as best they could. They propped her up on the milk jugs that they had gotten at the store to keep her cool. But they completely screwed up the seatbelt. The seatbelt was behind her. It was like she wasn't in. She said, "Oh, it was so cute the way I wanted to take a video to show how cute she was when she slept with her arms up like her dad." But her arm was like squished between her body and the milk jugs. And her arm couldn't have fallen if it tried in that position. It was like squished. And why was she lying on cold milk jugs? And plus, she had a stain below her seatbelt, right where I felt pain, and that I felt she had been shot. Her hand was definitely swollen. I've had 3 children, and I've been a CNA, certified nursing assistant, medical assistant. I work with children in all my jobs, practically, or older people, and that didn't look right. She had a bump on the side of her head. I think she got that when she fell on the cement. She went right down after he shot her. And I feel that's where she landed. She landed on her head. She hit her head. And the hand just was so telling, her right hand, that it was swollen. And you could see bluish, which can mean shock. She wasn't dead. So they reran the route. That's why Candace was so tense. Hunter was in the front seat. That was a staged shot to show that she was alive, coming home from the swimming hole. And she was fine. And Hunter was the voice in the front seat. We said, "Is her arm still up?" And Candace says, "No." Like, not like conversationally, but like, no. Like, she sounded really tense. And Summer did not look good. And that may have been the point where they dropped her off at Allie's. They may have not let Allie know at the point, because maybe that was true. That she said Summer did not look good, and Candace would not let her see her. And the whole thing, I listened to Hunter's explanation of how the milk jugs got here or there, transferred. They just threw them back in the car when they went to make the staged video. It makes sense. So he dropped her off after they did the video. I mean, she dropped Hunter off at the house, and Allie, then he probably told his mother what happened. Because I'm sure he wanted to know from Candace what happened. He may not have been there, but, and another voice vision, Hunter said to his mother, "Did he get rid of the gun?" And she said, "Yes." So I know he knew about the gun. And they were so screwed up when I watched that. Chris McDonough, they were tripping all over each other with explanations. Nobody could keep a straight story. Nobody knew anything. Allie was texting Hunter, and he kept looking at his, I mean, they were totally all over the place. So they went back to the house. They dropped Hunter off. Just Candace drove. They knew what they were going to do. Candace chose Summer back to the house. They picked up the dog. I don't know if Donna had already shot the dog. After what happened, the dog may have flipped out, her dog, and he shot him. But they took the dog with them, because I knew she was buried with the dog. And he turned. They went right up to the house. They switched cars or whatever, because they would have needed a 4x4 to go where they were going. They didn't go through their property. They went around their property. So they switched cars quickly. There's not that much traffic on that road. and he might have driven a little bit into the driveway where he met, and they switched cars. Candace got out. I don't think she went with him. Um, she was still alive. They could have taken her to a hospital, but they chose not to out of selfish reasons. And they put her in the car because I saw the tops of the trees where they put her. I saw that. Like I was in the car too. And they turned right on off of their Ben Hill onto Beach Creek and then right onto the next when Ben Hill turns off of Beach Creek Road. It's you can't see it from Google Maps. You have to go to Google Globe. And where there was no fencing on Ben Hill, where no guardrails, nothing where you could drive right into the thing. I know it was in the northwestern corner of the property where the stream comes up at the top. And he drove in there. She wasn't dead yet, so he drowned her to finish her off and dumped her into what looked like a well. And it was a well. And there was, the old homestead around it. And then he just finished up, what he had to do. And they concocted their story. The whole timeline is completely off. Um, and everybody was to be quiet. They all had different stories though. So it's like, but the TBI and the law enforcement must have some idea because they were searching that property a lot. So they had some idea that she was on that property. And when you kill somebody, basically you like to keep an eye on them. So you don't, some people have said she's under the house. A lot of people have said she's in the well. Um, I don't like all this drama. That's why I really haven't posted much. People have been trying to get information from me, a few people. And I've said everything. I've been very, uh, you know, clear with what I saw. And I'm not giving, there's very few actual mediums on this true crime thing. There's a lot of card readers who have intuition too, and a lot of electronic box mediums, which I don't really go along with it because I don't understand how it could work. Really, not that I'm saying it doesn't. I'm not saying it does. I'm not saying it doesn't. I don't really have an opinion because I prefer the old-fashioned way. It's the way I've always done it. So, it works for me. So I'm just waiting along with everybody else. I was told the time of year. It is that time of year. And I'm waiting patiently. And then I got the last message a few days ago about that somebody would crack. And I know, Donna Candace aren't on social media anymore. They were forbidden or for whatever they were, which is good and now this trespassing thing, I don't blame these people for trespassing, but I wish they wouldn't make such a hoopla out of it. They could be a little quieter about it. And as far as church goes, leave the church alone. I mean, a lot of creators have gone and slandered the church, made up stories, connected the wrong dots. I don't think the church had anything to do with it. Nothing. They slandered these people who were just trying to help the family. And Robin had been trying to help Summer for a long time, giving her daughter's clothes, her new toys, spending time with her. She was a wonderful person for Summer. She helped Summer a lot. She tried to help the kids. But when they shut their doors to these creators, it was because they stopped all over their reputations, and it was upsetting. And I don't blame them. They didn't have anything to do with this. They didn't. It was an inside family thing. And a hidden secret thing, just like Rosie. Um, I still think Candace knows where Rosie is. I think she knows. And anyway, so that's my summation of Summer, and she will be found, but somebody will squeal first. And I think it's getting down to the point where people are going to start cracking. And I would just like to know if anybody knows that the grandmother's still there, since they really don't report too much. And we'll just wait. So anyway, I think about Summer a lot, but I'm not gonna let it take over my life anymore because I need a break. And so we'll just see what happens. So I love you all, and little candle for Summer, you know, as always, and she should be found, and she can find peace because she's not going to find peace until she's found. And the policeman stepping in front of the well, it was like he knew she was there, and it tells me again that he knew information, and that somebody told them where she was, and so that seems plausible at this point because they've really checked everywhere they can check. And okay. Well, I love you all. I'll talk to you soon. And with the Gabby and Brian, I am absolutely certain Brian is still alive. And I don't care if dental records, they also are connected with possibly with the Freemasons, which are a weird, wacky, old group who are very loyal to each other, and they have access to skeletons, deceased bodies. It's medical and scientific things uh, in that group, and they have a chapter in Northport. Who's to say that the laundry seem to have some money, and I do believe he got away. And what Gabby told me, and what I was shown, tell me that the Mohab murders were also Brian, and they have satellite now, but the police won't let it be shown. Someone has gotten a hold of satellite imagery of a suspect or suspects. They won't say, but one creator wanted to show them, but I'm sure they weren't in great detail or anything, but that they have a suspect and they know who it is. And so I believe that the whole thing was staged. His murder was staged, and he's quite alive because of what I've seen and what Gabby's told me. And so, okay, I'll talk to you soon, and I wish you well. And if I don't talk to you before the holidays, I wish you a Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. Hope you have a nice holiday. And I just had my family over the other day. We had a huge turkey dinner, and I was tired. So, I wish you the best of everything, and I hope 2022 is a much better year. In 2021, it was a real struggle for all of us, and um, I intend to start posting more again. I just needed a break. It was too much trauma on true crime, and I just really hate that. And it's just mind-boggling how mean people can be to each other. And okay, I love you. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Bye.